Hello and welcome to another episode of the Daily Remedy Podcast. Today we're here with Dr. Una, founder of the EntreMD program, as well as the EntreMD Business School. And with that, I'd like to welcome Dr. Una. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Of course, we've been following your progress for many years, and we're incredibly impressed with the empathy and humanism by which you help navigate many physicians' unique journeys. And we feel that it's important for you to showcase what you can provide. So, for the listening audience who may not be familiar with what you do, can you start by explaining who you are and what the EntreMD method is?
My name is Dr. Una, like you said. I am a pediatrician by training, and I have run my private practice for the last 14 years, which has been an absolute joy. But somewhere along the line, even though there was, nothing wrong, I wasn't burned out or anything like that. I came to this understanding that as physicians, the healthcare space has changed. And if all we know how to do is just what we've always done, the clinical part of medicine, and with no understanding of business or how to run profitable practices or how to monetize anything else it is we want to do, that we would be out of luck. And that is when I started really becoming a student of business. Unfortunately, we have a really great education, but nothing to do with business at all. I became a student of business and started helping doctors in the simplest way possible learn business skills, right? Because at the end of the day, if there's no margin, there's no mission. It's just something that we really have to understand. And so I started walking doctors through that process. Like we're just one skill away from, practices, careers, businesses that we truly love. And that skill is business skills. So I fell in love with that process and started helping doctors do the same. I do that through my podcast. I do that through, multiple books I've written. You alluded to the EntreMD method. That is one of them. And then through the EntreMD Business School.
Nice. So, physicians who may be interested in a career transition or may be experiencing burnout, how do they know to contact you? Can you talk a little bit about your outreach efforts and how you educate the medical community about what you provide?
Yeah, the very first place would be that's a great question. The very first place would be my podcast. Now, the EntreMD podcast we call the free MBA, right, for physicians, and it is not fluff. It is not just inspiration or anything like that. It's a full package where you get the understanding of what the options are for physicians, right? Whether you're keeping your job all the way to you're building a product-based business, it shows you the mindset shifts you have to have because as physicians we have a specific way of thinking, and as an entrepreneur there's a different set of ways that we need to think. So kind of helping us make that mindset shift. And then we have a lot of how to's. How to, if you're going to, bring on a team, how do you do that? How to build an A team, how to raise your prices, how to make sure that your payroll is an investment rather than an expense, how to build your YouTube channel, podcast, whatever that is to get your name out there. All of those things, it's all there. Case studies of doctors who are doing what other doctors are dreaming of. So it's a full education, if you will. And a lot of people come into our world that way. We also have, books that we've written specifically for physicians. So we have the EntreMD method. We have the Made for More, which is a compilation book. 43 doctors came together to write their stories of entrepreneurship. And then most recently, we had the Visibility Formula, which is all about how do I take this really great brand I have, a really great business, really great service, and make it a household name, take it from best kept secret to household name. And so we call that kind of like the EntreMD Business School library. So there's almost this library of books that physicians can gain access to learn about entrepreneurship. And then, the third thing we do is we do a lot of live events, live workshops. Most recently, I did the Visibility Formula workshop where, yes, you can learn the principles, but come, let's workshop them together, and actually start taking the action so we can create the wins that we want. We had one on the 7 ways private practice owners leave money on the table every single day, which was phenomenal. And so the podcast, the books, the workshops are all things that physicians have access to. And from there, they can kind of experience our world and decide if the EntreMD Business School is something they want to commit to.
Well said. I want to play devil's advocate for the skeptical listener out there because, as you know,
Yeah.
physicians, we love to question everything and go about it alone, as you've seen many times with many of your clients, friends, acquaintances in the medical community. Some may say, why don't I take the traditional MBA route? Some may say, why don't I learn it on my own? But can you talk about your unique approach to reaching physicians and the physician mindset?
Yeah, so you bring up two really powerful points. I'm actually grateful you brought them up. So one would be the MBA, the second would be doing it alone. Now, I thought for a long time about going to do an MBA when I started my journey as an entrepreneur. And there are a number of things that came up. When you look at MBAs, a lot of them, the promise of the MBA is a six-figure job. They will tell you on there that, X number of students of ours have gone on to earn at least $116,000 in their jobs. So for the most part, MBAs, they do get you do get exposed to business principles and all of that, but a lot of them prepare you to work. Like they prepare you to work a job, not necessarily start a business. And many of them, the most prestigious schools, you can look at them, the promise is a six-figure job. We already have that, right? Like I'm like, that's not what I'm looking to do. I'm looking to learn the principles to make this business work. And so in the EntreMD Business School, the difference is we don't have the heavy curriculum. We don't have like there is learning, but it is learning the timeless proven principles you need to implement to make your business work. So it's almost like we teach you exactly what you need so you can do, right? Because the
Yeah.
implementation is where all the magic happens. So I wouldn't knock anybody, anybody's MBA or anything like that, but we're not set up that way at all. The idea is we want to show you how to build a profitable business. And in a way, for physicians, they don't have to give up another 2 years. They don't have to learn all these things that they're not going to use. We want something that's compatible with your lifestyle because we want doctors to be able to build their dream businesses and their dream lives at the same time. So that's one of our big things. So that's the first one. The second one is doing it alone. And man, that is the slowest, hardest, most painful way to do anything, right? Because at the end of the day, there are proven principles that work. Like, why would I go spend X number of years and Google everything to figure it out? It takes too much time. And in business, mistakes are expensive, right? Like the wrong hire will cost you money. Um, taking forever to learn the principles so you can apply is literally costing you money. So that is one place where ignorance is not bliss. You actually have to know. And so it's really too expensive, whether that's money or time to do it alone. It's also too expensive emotionally. So entrepreneurship is something that is doable. I'm a big advocate for it, but entrepreneurship is challenging. Entrepreneurship is hard. And you are going to, it's like a valley and mountain experience. There are times you'll be on the mountaintop, you had, your biggest week, your biggest month, you got a really good hire or whatever. And then you're going to have the valley where, three people in a row leave you a 1-star review, a team member leaves, a big client leaves, all of those kind of things, or life just happens. And to be able to go through that with a community of people who are also physician entrepreneurs who've been there, done that, and have the t-shirts makes that journey a lot less painful because someone else can say, that was me 6 months ago. This is what I did to overcome it. That was me 2 months ago. Don't worry, you got this, right? And so for us, like in the EntreMD Business School, a huge part of my work is curating a community filled with entrepreneurs, physician entrepreneurs who are thriving, who are willing to do the work, who are willing to be vulnerable, who are willing to support each other, because we need that for the journey. Like there's so many people who quit and walk away, and if they had support, they wouldn't have,
Hmm.
right? So yes, so I don't recommend, like, whether it's my program or some other program, I don't recommend doing entrepreneurship alone. That's too much.
Well said. I want to now transition and share a little bit about how people can get a hold of you, and start by looking at your general website, the home for Dr. Una, and then we can transition to the entire MD business schools. For those who may be interested in navigating the site and potentially getting a hold of Dr. Una, what are some points that they should look at the website to learn more and determine if this is right for them?
Yeah, so on the website, so entremd.com/business, that is the page for the business school. And you will see that would be the place to go. You will see that we talk about it being the only school of its kind, really, for physician entrepreneurs who are
Hmm.
committed to building profitable 6 and 7 figure businesses. And there are quite a number of testimonials on there from people who are students of the school, so that you can see their reports and their wins as well. You'll see some data. I think the one I love the most is the fact that 99% of the people in the school will recommend the school to their physician colleagues, right? So
Hmm.
that's not just my word, but that's the word of the other students that are there as well. So I would look through that, definitely look through the testimonials, look through the data points. And I think it's also important to say that, you know, for me, I am what people would consider a serial entrepreneur. And I do it that way because I'm a student of business. So I can be the best kind of mentor that the physicians who work with me would need. And so I have a private practice. I have an education company. I have a marketing agency. We run a nonprofit. And we have all these different kinds of businesses in different stages of business. I've been in entrepreneurship for the last 14 years. And we are so it's such an honor that last year we made it to the Inc. 5000 list of fastest growing companies, and we're
Wow.
number 315, right, out of 5,000. So these are all things that point to, like, I've been there, I've done that. I've supported people over the years, at this point, hundreds and hundreds of doctors to do the same. So I am a practitioner of what I teach. I am in the trenches. And so this is not theory. These are proven things that have worked and will continue to work. So those are some of the things to look
For those who may be interested in joining, and I have to say the numbers and testimonials are spectacular. So I would encourage anybody, even if they're not interested, just to take a look, because this is a perfect example of just clear evidence based results showing what value EntreMD can provide. Can you give an example of what a sample session would be like? What is the core topic? How is it formatted? Is it teaching? Is it didactic?
Yeah. So now, in the school, we have a number of different elements. So I'll walk you through those. And so the first element would be our weekly live sessions. So there's a weekly live session. 95% of the times it will be me running the session. And we cater it to what the school needs. So there are times that we would come on and we will do a how to. So for instance, we can come in and say how to run profitable events, right? That's something that we did recently. Whether you're a private practice or you're a coach or you're doing live streams or anything like that, like, how do you do events in such a way that it's not a waste of time, that it either creates more clients, more patients, more team members, if you're doing something like a career fair and things like that. So it's a step-by-step how to, right? When we got to the Inc. 5000 list of fastest growing companies, I came back, I'm like, okay, this is how exactly we did this. This is how exactly we got there. So we have some that are how to. We have some that are mindset based, because you can have all the strategies in the world, but if you think you can't do it, you're not the kind of person who can pull it off, or fear is getting the better of your imposter syndrome or any of those, it will cripple every strategy. So we're aware of that. So we have sessions that are purely mindset. We have some other sessions that are purely Q&A, because entrepreneurs have questions, right? And they're different businesses, different stages, all of that. So we give space for people to just come on and get their questions answered. And so we have a cadence to each of these things, but the mindsets, the how to, the Q&As, and sometimes we would have guests. And these are people who are running wildly successful multiple 7, 8 figure businesses, right? So those will be the Wednesday sessions. And of course, everything is recorded. So if someone can't make a session, they'll just catch the recording. We have had people, I have a client, she has young children. She's been in the business school for over 2 years. I've probably seen her on a live session twice, right? Because she's like, that's when, I take care of my babies and all of those kind of things. But she has a committed time every Thursday where she catches the replay and she's still crushing it, right? So that's the Wednesday. The second thing we have is we have a private Facebook community, which I say is probably the most positive place on Facebook. And doctors will, it is, they will come and they will share challenges they're going through, reaching out for help. They will share wins that they had and they will do a full debrief like, this is the win I had. We just crossed the $1 million mark. These are the things I did to get there. So it's such high value. People can come in and ask any questions that they want and they would get them answered. People will come on and, so it's a very rich community where people come and get the support they need and all of that. We have books of the month, so it's almost like a book club. Every month there's a business book that everybody gets to read and discuss all through the month. We have monthly challenges because a lot of times we know what to do, but we don't. And so we do challenges so people stay in momentum, right? They stay taking those big steps, doing the uncomfortable things in their businesses so they can get results. And there are more, but the last one I'll mention is we do have in-person events twice a year. And the EntreMD Business School is such a magical place virtually, but when you bring everybody into a physical location, it's like unbelievably crazy. The networking that's able, that we get done there, the amount of work we can get done in 3 days, and it's just a beautiful beautiful thing. So those are some of the elements in there, but you can see they're all strategically designed to take the doctors closer to their results. There's nothing there that's there just because. It's all designed to move them closer, Yeah.
Now, looking at from the other side, from the physician who's interested in participating, what attributes does he or she need to bring to the table to get the most out of this class?
You ask the best questions. Okay. So there are three I'm going to talk about. The first one is commitment and commitment to their results. So let me play it this way. Let me say I have a business. I've been in business for 10 years and I decide, I want to finally take it to where it's, multiple seven figures and I bring on a team so I'm working less, right? Like that might be the goal. The person who will thrive is the person who is committed to that result. Like one way or another, I am going to make this happen, but I want to collaborate with the business school and together we will do it, right? Because, like somebody may say, well, I'm coming to the school, I've made this investment, you make it happen. And I wish I could, right? But that's called a messiah complex because I can't. It does take two to tango, right? Like it does take two to create that result. So if the person is committed, like this is going to happen. You may not have all the answers, you may need help, all that is not a problem that we are committed to providing. But the commitment to your results, that's not something we can delegate. Nobody can do that for anybody else, right? So that's the first one. The second one is being coachable. And, because if someone comes in and we're like, okay, this is the framework that you need. So let's say the visibility formula or the revenue generation framework, this is what you need to do if you do want to cross that 7-figure mark. And they're like, well, I've done that. I don't want to do that. I just, that's not something I'm open to. If they're not coachable, if they're not willing to try, if they don't come with an open mind, then it's hard to help, right? Because for a glass to be filled, the glass has to be empty. And that doesn't mean you don't have a brain and you can't think and we can't, like have dialogue around something, but there needs to be that openness. Like I'm willing to do things I haven't done before. I'm willing to try things I haven't tried before. I'm willing to learn new concepts and things like that. But once they come in with the attitude of I know everything, I can already tell like this is not going to work, right? And then the third thing is really somebody who that attitude of being open to reach out for help, right? There will be things on the journey that will be confusing. There will be times that will be hard times. Like, I would never tell anybody that entrepreneurship is the easiest thing ever. I can tell you that it's possible and the return on investment is unbelievable, but it's not easy. And so when there's challenges, rather than hiding and deciding this is not working, this attitude of, hey, I'm struggling with this. Hey, can you clarify this? That makes a huge difference, because then the team can rally around you, the community can rally around you to support you, right? But some people, their reaction to challenges is to retreat. And that makes it hard because nobody will know and nobody can help, and nobody will be able to read your mind. Do you see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
if they are committed, they're coachable, and they stay in conversation, then chances are that they would absolutely love their experience. And maybe they'll be like, some of my people who joined in 2020 and still haven't left.
So on that note, when can physicians sign up, and when does the next class begin?
Yeah, so the next step to take would be to really get on a call with my team. And I want to preface it, people have been burnt by high pressure sales and all of that. We don't do that. We're not that kind of company. We are a physician led professional company. And EntreMD is a mission for us. We want to support doctors. So we have no interest in strong arming somebody to do something because we want to make a buck or anything like that. But what will happen is when you make the call, the team would actually sit with you and help you think through and work out, like, is this my best next step? Would this work for my kind of business? Which, the answer to will it work for my kind of business is yes. But will it work? Is this the time? These are the challenges. This is why I think it may not work for me. So we can help you navigate that. So that's what that call is. It's almost like a collaborative call. It's not a high pressure sales call. And that would be entremd.com/call, entremd.com/call, and just schedule that. And the team will work with you. You get to do your application and all of that stuff. And we'll be happy to welcome you in. We usually have, like big cohorts a few times a year. But when people get on a call and all that, we can get them in and do their own custom onboarding and all of those kind of things. So the person can still come in. The important thing is just to schedule that call. And the truth of the matter is, whether you decide to come in or not, it is a call that will be really high value, because you would have worked through your business and you would have made a concrete decision, right? It's either absolutely or absolutely not. You're not hanging in that value of indecision, if you will, right? You know for sure what to do. So it'll be high value either way. So you can just
Perfect. For those who are considering booking that call, what should they prepare? Should they have a business plan in hand, or what would make for the best phone call?
Yeah, so not a business plan. Those are things that, we could do on the other side, but it's a feel for, this is the kind of business I have, or this is the kind of business I want to have. These are the goals, like, this is what I want to accomplish for that business. Even if you don't have the how, you don't have to worry about the how, it's the what, right? These are the kind of goals I'm thinking of accomplishing. These are the challenges that I think are standing in my way, and then we can help you work through those things, right? So it's very simple. They don't have to come with a complete business plan and all of those kind of things. That's kind of our homework.
And on that note, Dr. Una, thank you so much for your time. And for those who are listening, I would strongly encourage you guys to learn about the EntreMD method, learn about the EntreMD business school, and really just take a time to learn more about what Dr. Una is doing overall.
Thank you so much for having me.